we're here at Daytona. You made your Supercross professional debut last week in Atlanta, and that happened to be a Triple Crown round, which there are no heat races,
Right.
thrown straight into it. So that's a pretty gnarly thing, I think, to get thrown into. How did you mentally have to approach that whole thing?
Um, I mean, I didn't really have a benchmark otherwise, you know what I mean? So, and just as hectic as the Triple Crowns are, like, I don't know any different. So, it was kind of, okay, this is what Supercross is about. But mentally preparing, I really wasn't doing anything too wild. Really just trying to stay calm and get through the night. That's pretty much all my goal was. And I was actually a little bit disappointed with my mental approach towards it because I felt like I treated it more as an arena cross, where it was like, earlier this year I had to do arena crosses, and it was like, all right, just get through it, like make it to the next round, and I didn't feel like I was really racing, and which was okay for my first one, and that's pretty much where the team's at right now. They're like, just be at all the rounds, get experience, years to come, things will start clicking for the top. But yeah, so mentally preparing, it was really just relaxing, staying calm, hitting my marks, and yeah.
Yeah, that thinking about it like that, like that could actually help you for this weekend now, because that's a high pressure situation, knowing you have to lay down a lap, and
Yeah.
you knew you had the speed
In time
but,
qualifying.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess the first practice, so Supercross compared to what you expected when you get on the track, was it a little bit of a surprise, like how quick you needed to learn it, or did you prepare for that?
Well, there was a few rhythms that I didn't get until the last practice, and it was tough being in the C practice because I didn't have anyone to base off, like, oh, that's how fast you hit that jump. So, because I was in the first one out and pretty much had to figure everything out on my own, but I was comfortable with a lot of it, but I would have wished I would have hit a few different things a little sooner. But in general, like hitting stuff, it wasn't too bad. I'd say I was pretty prepared to start getting some speed into it. But for sure, just felt a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like I don't know what I'm doing out here, like a little bit awkward, and so it definitely played a part. But I could like feel the experience, like I like the experience XP per se, like just going up as if each time I was out there. So
Yeah, that's cool. And come race time, most racers, if you asked them like, what's a goal, would probably be to sit on the main event in front of a pretty packed stadium like that. Was that like a moment for you? Did you have that moment where you're like, whoa, it's I'm here?
I really wanted to have that moment, and I think everyone's like, you think about it and you grow up, and it's something like you look forward to. But in the moment, it's like you're so focused on what you got to do, and like there was a part of me that like didn't want to look around, for the reason being maybe I would get psyched out, So it was almost like that moment was available for me to take, but I was almost like I held myself back from it because it would potentially negatively affect my performance. So, but it was cool. It was definitely a cool experience to do it, and even little things throughout the weekend and throughout just the whole process. Like there's small things that are big steps for me. Like Atlanta, for some reason I was really stoked because that was the first hotel I had ever paid for on my own, and like that was like a big step for me. It was like, oh man, I'm doing this thing, all right. It's almost like the life steps, in like I've gotten to this point in life versus this point in racing, but this point in racing has allowed me to get to this point in life, so it's been cool.
That's super cool. And then I guess with your finish, were you happy with your finish? I think that getting out of there in one piece is a rookie's best
Yeah.
pretty much plan.
Yeah, so I was happy with it, kind of to begin with, and everyone else was pretty pleased. It was like, all right, great, I got through it and it was good. And then it was almost like I was happy with it, but I wasn't really happy with it. So it made me like, it put me in a weird place because I didn't like being happy with something that I wasn't really happy with. And so it kind of dawned on me when I was driving home from the airport. I was like, I was kind of thinking and replaying outdoors and where I was. I crashed twice. I got 14th in my first race. Crashed twice, both motos, and it was like, yeah, I was happy, but not really. Like, it's not really where I wanted to be. And so it kind of dawned on me that it was okay for me not to be happy, which, in real life, not really, but within myself, it was like, okay, like, I can be not happy with this because that shows me that there is going forward. So it was almost like I was more happy being not happy with it. Yeah.
That's a racer's mentality. Like, most people are, you could have, I could look at what somebody did and I'm like, dude, what a race. And they'd be like, no,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not psyched. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's why you guys are successful, because you're driven off that.
Yeah.
So coming into this one, it's a totally different game, but I mean, what do you, Daytona, you've raced here amateur days, so
Yeah.
you almost have experience with this soil, right?
Yeah. I have experience with the soil, and then riding at Baker's this week was good. Track was gnarly, and it was sick, so.
How was that? Was that like opening the gates to like a video game? Because it's pretty nuts there.
At Baker's or Baker's with?
Like Baker's factory, like just going there to ride, that had to be cool, right?
No, it's way cool. It's like, the place is more like a golf course than a motocross track. Like, it's just nice. And
He'll yell at you for riding on the grass too. That's why it's so nice.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good about not. and sides of the jumps, you don't do that either. But yeah, so this week though, riding it on the Daytona track, I really started to get a flow together, and I felt a lot better. So coming into Daytona week, I'm feeling more confident, and yeah, I'm feeling more solid, and not a whole lot more pressure because the goal still stands, be it every round. So yeah, but I'm not sure how I'll really approach it differently. It's kind of like get on the track, make sure I'm feeling good, kind of. I'm not going to do anything I'm crazy uncomfortable with, but I also want to, show everyone where I'm at.
Yeah, and to fill the people in, like, you missed, what was it?
2 rounds.
2 rounds, and
2 rounds.
you're
well,
coming back.
two rounds, but I mean the real miss is the month off. If I were like my preparation in reality, like not a lot of people say it, but it wasn't really that great. Like, I went to arena cross, had a couple crashes there, like, and then hit my head, and so took a month off, and you come back and you got 2 weeks on the bike, and then you go race, and it's like 2.5 weeks, but which that's how it is. But so it's okay, it's all good.
Yeah, I think like you said, the team is allowing you to. They're not putting a high pressure on you. So
I got like a mulligan on this season.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. So I guess, yeah. That being said, like, what do you have any like key goals like to hit before the season's out, or is it just learn?
Their goals for me is just to learn. I want to get my riding to where I'm happy with it, and I want to be solid. I want to minimize sketchy moments, and I want to be able to race the track. One thing, Osborne passed me in the 3rd moto in Atlanta, and it just like him going by me, it was like, man, that guy's like really in his element. Like, this is his game, and I didn't feel that way out there. It was felt like, okay, I'm riding around, where like, this guy, he's in his element. And so I'd love to get there. It might take a lot longer than the end of the season. But yeah, I don't know if I have really any set goal like, oh, this is what I'm going to be happy with. But I think it's where my riding is more so than the results.
Cool. Well, good luck and have fun.
Yeah, thanks.